This is Hunter Williams, and this is my first video tutorial. I don't really know how this will go, but if you're looking for this vintage look, then you come to the right place. This could be used for Instagram. This could be used for Facebook to impress your friends, family. I don't know if your family would be into your Instagram, but hey, whatever. And let's just start out with what I have as my beginning image. So I took this the other day, just went out on a highway and pulled over. People were honking at me, and the first thing you want to do, if you're familiar with Photoshop, you want to use adjustment layers, because adjustment layers are not going to destroy your image. You're going to be able to turn them off, on, switch between them, and not have to worry about pressing Shift Command Z and undoing everything. And it's a pain if you don't use. Trust me, use adjustment layers. Okay. The other way to do it is to go into adjustments and just affect the image directly, and you see how it doesn't create a new layer for you. But if you do it through here, you've got this new layer, and you can turn it off, on, and do whatever you want. So it's beautiful. It's awesome. Do it. Just do it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to create a new adjustment layer for curves. Curves can be one of the most important parts. I think that you can do anything with curves. I don't think you need to do anything with levels or brightness contrast. You can do it all by doing S-curves. But the first thing you want to do is create that curves layer. And you want to drag this point. See, this is the shadows, and this is the highlights. And obviously I didn't really blow out anything. I did kind of a good job taking the photo, so there's no whites that are completely cut off. But you want to take the shadows and you want to raise it up. This is going to flatten your image. It's going to make it less contrasty. It's going to give it a higher dynamic range. And then you want to take a point somewhere in the midst of your shadows, and you just want to drag it down. And this is a matter of preference. This isn't something that you can just, there's no science to it. There's no number. I'm not going to tell you but you see how it gets this kind of weird glossy, kind of like matte. I don't know how to describe it, but it's that kind of vintage, almost hipster, I guess you would, if you want to call it that or whatever, look to it. But we're not done here. No, we're going to go further, and we're going to put this kind of color over it. And it doesn't really matter what the color is, but this will create a new layer, and it's going to create a solid color. So what you want to do, see, it's right here and then right here. Yeah. Well, just by the way, I'm taking this really slow because in tutorials that I've seen, which is how I learned Photoshop, they went too fast, and I just want to make sure that I'm going at a good pace. So you want to make this solid layer, and you're like, oh my God, where'd my picture go? Well, don't worry about it. A good color to start with is this kind of tannish color, and you can just go to the number thing, the box. I don't really know what it is, but type in FDA. Okay, FDA. I'll put it in the description. I'll do whatever. That's the color right there. It's this nice creamy tan. I don't know what you want to call it, but then hit OK. And this is a layer, and you can adjust it later. So we'll be playing with it, and then don't do anything weird with the blending options. Just take the opacity and take it down to like 5%. See what this did? And you can turn it on and off, and you can mess with the opacity. And I think that the best way to learn is when you're doing these things, take it to the extremes. It will never hurt. So while you're doing this, go all the way up to 84%, see what that looks like. Go down to 37%, see what that looks like. 5% I found, 5, 6, 10, something like that. That seems to be the best place. It's subtle. It's not tacky. It's, a lot of people don't notice it, but they like it. So that's a good place. And a lot of these things I'm taking from other tutorials. I'm taking a bunch of different things and then putting them into mine so that you guys can see kind of what I do to make Instagrams. By the way, I don't think that you're going to get more likes by doing this. Trust me, I do what I think are pretty awesome images, but I get like 36 likes. And then that's pretty much it. You can stay in this kind of like pastel, kind of like lighter color range, but you can go to anything and it will look kind of cool. If you go through it, I think the more natural colors for vintage is going to come, in this area from yellow to red. Maybe blue a little bit, but I don't think you're going to get much green and pink and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to leave it to FDA because that's my favorite. And then, you can do a bunch of other tweaking. I usually put another curves layer just to adjust. I think that might be a little bit too light for this vintagey hipster look. So I, kind of bring it down. I can put a saturation. See, all these things, it will tell you right here where it is. I don't need to spell it out. And if you don't have that tab, go to Window, Adjustments. You'll get it. There's other tutorials on this. But, and you can go to saturation, make it more saturated, less saturated. You can make it black and white. Don't do that with the saturation, though. It's a little bit, I don't know why, but just don't. Just hit the black and white layer. It's so much easier. You got a lot of really cool things to mess with, but black and white is okay. But I've got some good colors here, so I don't need to do black and white. But it's so yeah, this is kind of how I did the vintage look. This isn't really a great image. It's just something I took, and you can do it with anything. You could do it with pictures with your friends. You could do whatever. You could take it to extremes. Another way to do the vintage look on Photoshop is to buy something called let's see. It's Visual Supply Company. And they've got these things for Photoshop. I'm sure you've seen them. I'm sure you've seen like the what? I'm sorry, they just cut the prices down, and I bought it like 2 days ago. Whatever. Okay, so these are great little filters you can put. It emulates film. It's artsy, right? Something like that. You can put it on anything. I bought it. It's super easy. I'll have another tutorial on that if you guys want. Just let me know. Email me. Follow me. I don't know if I'm putting this on YouTube. Subscribe. Whatever. And yeah, it's the first video tutorial.